If I could choose just one small food that could deeply influence your longevity, heart health, memory, and even stroke risk after the age of 60, what would it be? Some might say oil. Others, sugar. But there's something else, something small and often overlooked, that's something that's probably sitting right now in your kitchen cabinet. You may have even been told it's a healthy snack. But let me tell you a hard truth, backhand index pointing right. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, more than 17.9 million people die every year from cardiovascular diseases, making it the leading cause of death worldwide, WHO, 2023. Backhand index pointing right. And the CDC reports that 63% of Americans over 65 live with high blood pressure. A third have elevated cholesterol. And over 6 million Americans suffer from dementia, CDC, 2022. Now here's the part no one talks about, some of the most popular nuts, even those labeled heart healthy, may actually be quietly worsening these very conditions. My name is Dr. James Miller. I've spent over 30 years researching nutrition and aging, working with thousands of patients with heart disease and memory loss, and I have a confession to make. I used to believe that all nuts were healthy, but I was wrong. And it was one of my patients who opened my eyes. Alan, one of my longtime patients, 71 years old, retired engineer, was meticulous about his health. He walked every day, ate oatmeal for breakfast, and especially loved nuts. Every evening, he'd snack on a mix of healthy nuts his granddaughter picked up from the organic aisle, almonds, cashews, peanuts, even pine nuts. But within just 4 months, his liver enzymes spiked, his cholesterol went out of control, and his memory began to fade. At first, I couldn't figure it out. Until I broke down every single nut he was eating. Today, I'm going to share with you what I discovered, backed by cutting-edge science, real-life clinical experience, and yes, a few professional mistakes I hope you never have to make. In this video, we'll explore 7 common nuts, for that can extend your life and sharpen your brain. And 3 that might be quietly accelerating aging and chronic disease in your body. If you're over 50, or love someone who is, I urge you to stay with me until the end, because in the final section, I'll reveal the name of a nut that's widely consumed, yet contains a natural toxin that can damage your liver, kidneys, and brain if eaten regularly, and chances are you've eaten it this week. So, which nut is best for memory, which one silently raises blood pressure, and which one should you take off your grocery list? Today, let's begin. Almonds, the bone-brain protector. This one tiny nut could transform your bones, your memory, and your digestion, all in under 60 days. Man, health worker, if I had to choose just one nut to recommend for my patients over 60, I'd choose almonds. One of my patients, Mrs. Linda Green, 67 years old, a retired elementary school teacher from Ohio, came to me feeling frustrated. She had early-stage osteoporosis, mild forgetfulness, and chronic constipation that made her days uncomfortable. Every time she came in for her routine checkups, she'd sigh, "Doctor, I don't get it. I drink milk, I eat healthy, but my bones are still weak, and my mind feels cloudy." DNA. Here's what I discovered. The problem wasn't that she lacked calcium, it's that the calcium wasn't reaching the right place, her bones, and that's what makes almonds so special. Collision. Just a quarter cup of almonds, about 15 to 20 nuts, contains 97 milligrams of calcium, which strengthens bone density, magnesium, which acts as a delivery agent to bring calcium into your bones, instead of letting it harden your arteries. Vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that shields your brain cells from oxidative damage. In a study conducted by the Tufts University Nutrition Research Center, 2020, older adults who consumed 30 g of almonds daily for 6 months experienced significant improvements in cognitive function, decreased markers of neuroinflammation, lower LDL cholesterol levels, a major risk factor for atherosclerosis. Backhand index pointing right. Source: Tufts University, 2020, almonds provide about 3.5 grams of fiber per serving, a nutrient that 40% of older adults don't get enough of. Constipation in seniors isn't just uncomfortable, it can impact heart health, appetite, sleep, and overall well-being. Mrs. Green started eating 15 to 20 almonds every morning, paired with plenty of water. 2 months later, she came back beaming, "Doctor, for the first time in years, I don't feel bloated. I feel lighter, clearer." Here's a little-known fact: most of almonds' antioxidants live in the brown skin, and when that flavonoid-rich skin combines with vitamin E, the result is powerful protection against oxidative stress in the brain, a leading factor in memory loss and cognitive decline. That's why I always recommend whole, unpeeled almonds, not the blanched, salted, or oil-roasted kind. These little guys are brain armor. If you or a loved one has dental issues or difficulty swallowing, grind the almonds into powder and add to yogurt or oatmeal, or soak them to soften before chewing. Hard nuts can be a choking hazard for seniors with weak teeth or dry mouth. 15 to 20 almonds per day, 1/4 cup. Unsalted, unroasted, and eaten before breakfast or 30 minutes before meals. Store in a sealed jar away from sunlight, or better yet, keep them in the fridge to preserve their oils. So there you have it, our first natural shield for aging, almonds, protecting your bones, gut, and memory all at once. But if you're looking for a nut specifically designed for the brain, one that even looks like the human brain, the next one will truly surprise you. Backhand index pointing right. Let's move on to part 2, walnuts, the brain's best friend. Walnuts, the brain's best friend. This nut looks just like your brain, and might just be the best thing to protect it. Man, health worker, have you ever noticed how a walnut looks remarkably like the human brain? It's not just a coincidence. Nature often leaves clues, and walnuts are one of the most powerful natural gifts for protecting memory and cognitive function as we age. I'll never forget Mr. William Brooks, a 68-year-old piano teacher from Boston. He came to my clinic for a routine check up, but his expression was different. He looked unsettled. He told me, "Doctor, lately I've been missing notes. I forget harmonies I've known for 40 years. It's like my fingers remember, but my mind doesn't." For an artist like William, losing memory isn't just frustrating, it's soul-crushing. Walnuts are the richest plant-based source of omega-3 ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, a type of fat that preserves the structure of your brain cells, supports nerve signaling, fights inflammation within neural tissue, which is critical for seniors. White heavy checkmark in a 2020 study by UCLA, Journal of Nutrition. Researchers followed over 600 adults aged 60. Those who ate 28 g of walnuts daily for 6 weeks showed faster mental processing speed, improved short-term memory, reduced risk of early Alzheimer's. Backhand index pointing right. Source: Arabelle et al., J. Neutre. 2020, 150. 3676, 684, they contain polyphenol that can cross the blood-brain barrier, something most nutrients can't do. This means they can directly reduce inflammation inside the brain, especially in the hippocampus, the part responsible for memory. Sleeping face walnuts also help with sleep, a hidden bonus for seniors. They're one of the few nuts that contain natural melatonin, the hormone that regulates your sleep cycle. After age 60, melatonin production drops, which is why many seniors struggle with falling or staying asleep. Several of my patients who added a handful of walnuts to their evening routine reported, "Doctor, I don't toss and turn as much anymore. I actually sleep through the night." Beating heart. Brain and heart health are deeply connected. Walnuts are rich in arginine, an amino acid that helps dilate blood vessels and lower blood pressure. Combined with their antioxidants, they support circulation, especially to the brain, reducing stroke risk in older adults. Pushpin special storage tips: walnuts spoil quickly. Store them in the refrigerator, ideally in airtight containers. Avoid high heat roasting. It can destroy their delicate omega-3s and antioxidants. if chewing is difficult, soak them in water for 1 to 2 hours or blend into yogurt or oatmeal. 7 to 9 walnut halves per day. Choose raw, unsalted, unroasted varieties. Eat them in the evening, not just for sleep, but as a calming ritual. Light bulb bonus tip: if you crack them yourself, you're not just keeping the nuts fresher, you're also improving fine motor skills, which play a big role in delaying dementia. So far, we've built a powerful foundation: almonds for your bones and gut, walnuts for your brain and sleep. But what about your heart? Your blood pressure? And even your vision? There's a humble nut that almost no one talks about, but it holds extraordinary power to protect all three. Backhand index pointing right. Let's dive into part 3, pistachios, the quiet warrior for your heart, eyes, and blood sugar. Pistachios, the quiet warrior for your heart, eyes, and blood sugar. Green heart. 1 small handful. 3 big benefits: a calmer heart, clearer eyes, and steadier blood sugar. Man health worker. Some foods get all the attention, and then there are the quiet ones, the overlooked gems. Pistachios are one of them. I remember talking with Mr. Harold Jenkins, 65 years old, a retired high school teacher in California. He had been managing prediabetes for several years. He looked at me, genuinely curious. "Doctor, besides cutting sugar and taking walks, is there something simple I could eat every day to help my blood sugar?" I smiled and said, "Yes. And it even makes a satisfying little crunch. Pistachios. Heart support, in a handful, just 1 ounce, about 49 pistachios, gives you 285 milligrams of potassium, a key mineral that helps neutralize sodium, easing pressure on your arteries, lower systolic blood pressure naturally. White heavy checkmark. A study by Pennsylvania State University, 2012, found that eating pistachios daily for 4 weeks lowered systolic blood pressure by up to 4.8 millimeters of mercury, similar to the effect of some early-stage medications. Backhand index pointing right. West S.G. et al., Hypertension, 2012, Your eyes as you age. Here's something few people know: pistachios contain lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 natural antioxidants that concentrate in the retina. These compounds help protect against age-related macular degeneration, AMD, the leading cause of vision loss after 60. Books. According to a 2017 study in Nutrients, regular intake of these carotenoids can delay or prevent macular damage. Backhand index pointing right. Ma L. et al., Nutrients, 2017, candy stabilizing blood sugar, naturally, with 3 grams of fiber per ounce. Pistachios slow down glucose absorption, especially when eaten between meals. Books. In a 2014 Spanish study, postmenopausal women at risk of diabetes who ate pistachios daily for 3 months showed better insulin sensitivity, lower fasting blood sugar, reduced inflammation. Backhand index pointing right. Hernandez Alonso P. et al., Diabetes Care, 2014. Face with open mouth. Eating slower, living better. Here's what I love about pistachios: you have to crack them open, one by one. That naturally slows down eating and encourages mindful snacking. Books. A 2011 study in the International Journal of Obesity showed that people who ate in-shell pistachios consumed 40% fewer calories than those who ate pre-shelled, with the same feeling of fullness. Backhand index pointing right. Kaiser K.A. et al., in J. Obes, 2011, older adult perfect for seniors. Easier to chew than almonds or macadamia, gentler on digestion, naturally rich in anthocyanins, the green and purple pigments that protect cells from aging. About 49 pistachios per day, 28 g. Choose unsalted or lightly salted, dry roasted or raw. If arthritis makes shelling tough, look for half-open pistachios for easier handling. Light bulb pro tip: eat them as a mid-afternoon snack. They'll boost energy, support blood sugar control, and satisfy your appetite without overload. Avoid pairing pistachios with sugary desserts. If you have chronic kidney disease, consult your doctor. Pistachios are high in potassium, so far. We've talked about 3 powerful everyday nuts: almonds, walnuts, and now pistachios, each quietly working behind the scenes to help your heart, brain, bones, and blood sugar. But the next nut, it's not quiet, it's bold, powerful, and dangerous if misused. Just one nut a day can activate your thyroid, sharpen your metabolism, or poison your system if you overdo it. Backhand index pointing right. Let's uncover the truth in part 4, Brazil nuts, the natural selenium balm for aging and thyroid health. Brazil nuts, the natural selenium balm for aging and thyroid health. Collision: just one nut a day could sharpen your metabolism, slow cellular aging, and protect your thyroid. But take too many, it might poison your progress. Man, health worker, if I had to pick the most powerful yet most misunderstood nut in all of nutrition science, that I'd say it without hesitation: Brazil nuts. Mrs. Nancy Miller, 66 years old, bright, positive, full of life, came to my clinic with a concern that's all too common after 60. Doctor, I'm tired all the time. My hair's thinning, I've gained weight, but my labs are normal. Or so they say. Her hands were cold to the touch. Her energy low. Her thyroid levels were borderline. She had no idea she was slowly slipping into subclinical hypothyroidism, a condition where the thyroid underperforms but doesn't yet show up clearly in most standard tests. Receipt: I asked, Nancy, have you changed your diet recently? She smiled and said, oh yes, my granddaughter brought me some fancy Brazil nuts. Just 2 or 3 a day. They taste so buttery. That's when the puzzle pieces clicked. These nuts are tiny, but inside each one lies a concentrated dose of selenium. Backhand index pointing right. Just one nut has about 96 micrograms, or 137% of the daily recommended intake. Pushpin: selenium is no ordinary mineral. It plays a crucial role in activating thyroid hormones, especially T3. Protecting your thyroid gland from oxidative damage, supporting energy, metabolism, and even your mood. White heavy checkmark. A 2007 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who took 200 micrograms of selenium daily for 3 months experienced improved thyroid function, reduced thyroid inflammation, better insulin sensitivity. Backhand index pointing right. Combs G.F. et al., AMJ Clin Nutr, 2007. Here's what really fascinates me: selenium isn't just about thyroid health, it's been linked to the preservation of telomeres, the caps at the ends of your chromosomes that shorten as you age. Pushpin: think of telomeres like the plastic tips on your shoelaces. When they fray, everything falls apart. Shorter telomeres are associated with faster aging and chronic disease. Books: in a 2020 study published in Nutrients, selenium from Brazil nuts was shown to help preserve telomere length, potentially slowing down cellular aging. Backhand index pointing right. Wang Z, et al., Nutrients, 2020. Brain: it also protects myelin, the insulating layer around your nerve fibers. That's your reflexes, your memory, your clarity, all staying sharp because the signals are firing clean and fast. Test tube. But here's the catch: one nut is a dose, not a snack. Too much selenium can be toxic, and I've seen it firsthand. Crossmark: chronic selenium overdose can lead to brittle nails, hair loss, garlic-like breath, fatigue and brain fog, even nerve damage in severe cases. That's why I always tell my patients, Brazil nuts are not trail mix, they're nature's thyroid medication, wrapped in a shell. White heavy checkmark. 1 to 2 nuts per day, that's it. Any more, and you're likely pushing into toxic territory. Pushpin: storage matters, because Brazil nuts are rich in natural oils, they oxidize quickly. Keep them in an airtight container, in the fridge or a cool, dark pantry, away from heat and sunlight. Cold face refrigeration slows oil spoilage and prevents the buildup of lipid peroxides, compounds that damage your liver. Shopping cart buying tips: choose unsalted, raw, or dry roasted varieties. If possible, buy them in shell or vacuum sealed. avoid those pre-packaged and mixed nut blends, too easy to overeat. Light bulb already taking a multivitamin with selenium. Backhand index pointing right. Count your total intake to stay under 200 micrograms per day. Brazil nuts contain soft fiber that's gentle on the gut, healthy fats that support bowel regularity, that makes them an excellent aid for seniors dealing with chronic constipation, a very common but under discussed issue. Direct hit. Just one nut a day can help grease the gears without harsh laxatives. So far, we've covered 4 golden nuts: almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and now Brazil nuts. Each of them offers protection for bones, brain, blood vessels, and glands, but not all nuts are created equal. Some of the most popular ones, the ones found in mixed nut cans and healthy snacks at the grocery store, are hiding something far more dangerous. And the first one, it's not even a nut at all. Backhand index pointing right. Let's expose the myth in part 5, peanuts, the molded mistake that may be harming your liver, memory, and medications. Peanuts, the molded mistake that's hurting your liver, brain, and blood. Bomb. It's everywhere. In your trail mix. In your peanut butter jar. Even in your favorite Vietnamese dishes. But this so-called nut isn't really a nut. And for seniors, it might be the most dangerous one of all. Man, health worker. I hesitated before writing this section. Why? Because I know how many of us grew up with peanuts, a handful after school. Peanut butter on toast. Roasted peanuts during family gatherings. They're nostalgic, familiar, even comforting. But here's the truth: peanuts are not what we think they are, and for people over 60, they can quietly cause damage that goes undetected for years. Seedling truth number 1: peanuts aren't nuts, they're legumes. Yes, really. Unlike almonds or walnuts, peanuts grow underground, not on trees. They're in the same family as soybeans, lentils, and green peas, which makes them more vulnerable to certain types of contamination, especially mold. And not just any mold, microbe the silent killer, aflatoxins. Peanuts are especially prone to infection by Aspergillus flavus, a mold that thrives in warm, humid storage. This mold produces a compound called aflatoxin, one of the most potent natural carcinogens ever discovered. Books. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, aflatoxins are linked to liver damage, suppressed immunity, and significantly higher risk of liver cancer, particularly in vulnerable populations like the elderly. And the scariest part, test tube. A 2021 study published in Food Control Journal found that over 30% of peanut samples tested across Asia and the US contained aflatoxin levels above the recommended safety threshold. Kamanyami et al., Food Control, 2021. You could be eating them every day and have no idea. Mr. Richard Thompson, 72, came into my clinic with fatigue, poor appetite, and yellowing eyes. No alcohol, no fatty foods, no obvious risk factors. But when I asked about his daily habits, he said, "Every afternoon, I snack on salted roasted peanuts. They're easy to chew. And I thought they were heart healthy." We ran liver function tests. His enzymes were elevated. His liver was inflamed, and it wasn't from medicine, or diet, or age. It was the peanuts. One final risk, and it's physical. Peanuts are small, round, and often hard. For seniors with missing teeth, dentures, or difficulty swallowing, they pose a real choking hazard. I once treated a patient who had to be rushed to the ER after accidentally inhaling a peanut while laughing. It blocked his airway. He survived, but it could have ended much worse. Warning: seniors are more vulnerable. When we're young, our liver can filter out small toxins without much trouble, but after 60, detoxification slows down, and aflatoxins don't just pass through, they accumulate, day by day, week by week, until damage becomes irreversible. And what's worse, there are no obvious symptoms until the damage is done. That's what makes peanuts so dangerous for older adults. Peanuts aren't just problematic because of mold, they also contain high omega-6 fatty acids, which worsen inflammation, especially harmful for seniors with joint pain, cognitive decline, or autoimmune issues, protein compounds that can trigger immune responses, even in people without true allergies. Vitamin K, which can interfere with blood thinners like warfarin, a medication many seniors rely on to prevent strokes and heart attacks. And then there's the way we process them. Fire roasting at high temperatures, the most common method, produces acrylamide, a compound linked to nerve damage and cognitive decline in older adults. Books, Friedman M., Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, 2003. You thought peanut butter was harmless? Think again. One final risk, and it's physical. Peanuts are small, round, and often hard. For seniors with missing teeth, dentures, or difficulty swallowing, they pose a real choking hazard. I once treated a patient who had to be rushed to the ER after accidentally inhaling a peanut while laughing. It blocked his airway. He survived. But it could have ended much worse. If peanuts are part of your daily habit, I'm not telling you to panic. But I am asking you to reconsider. Crossmark avoid roasted, salted, or flavored peanuts. Crossmark skip mass market peanut butter, even if labeled natural. White heavy check mark if you must have peanuts. Choose lightly boiled or steamed peanuts. They reduce aflatoxin and oil oxidation. Eat only 1 to 2 small servings per week, and store them in the fridge, never the pantry. Pushpin. But honestly, you're better off switching to almonds, for bones and brain, walnuts, for memory and sleep, pistachios, for blood sugar and eye health. So far, we've unmasked the truth about peanuts, a nut that's not really a nut. And not nearly as safe as it seems, but there's another nut that's just as sneaky. It's soft. It's creamy. It tastes mild and pleasant, but inside, it holds the power to spike your blood sugar, increase kidney stone risk, and quietly damage your metabolism, especially in aging bodies. Backhand index pointing right. Let's explore the blood sugar trap in part 6. Cashews, the sweet and silent saboteur. Cashews, the sweet and silent saboteur, candy soft. Creamy. Easy to chew. Cashews seem harmless, even healthy. But for people over 60, they might be quietly wrecking your blood sugar, your kidneys, and your bones, one sweet handful at a time. Man health worker. I used to recommend cashews. I'll admit it, they're lower in fat than some other nuts, they're delicious. And they don't feel heavy. But over the years, I've seen too many of my older patients run into the same problems. All while thinking they were making a healthy choice. Let me share a story that still sticks with me. Mr. Donald White, 69 years old, New Jersey, a retired engineer. Careful with his health. No soda. No desserts, no fast food, but his blood sugar was creeping up, bit by bit, year after year. He wasn't diabetic. But he was getting close. When we reviewed his food journal, one habit stood out: I snack on cashews all day. They're soft, not salty. And I thought they were good for my heart. I gently told him, it's that exact comfort that makes them dangerous. Bar chart problem number 1, blood sugar spikes you never see coming. Cashews have more carbs and fewer fibers than most other nuts. In fact, 1 ounce, 28 g, of cashews contains about 9 grams of carbohydrates, and only a tiny amount of fiber to slow it down. That means your blood sugar can jump quickly after eating them. This is especially dangerous for seniors with prediabetes or mild insulin resistance, people who snack on cashews between meals, anyone eating cashews without protein or fat to balance it. Books. A 2018 study in clinical nutrition compared cashews, almonds, and walnuts. Guess what? Cashews cause the highest post-meal blood sugar spikes, especially in older adults. Singh R. et al. Clinical Nutrition. 2018, skull problem number 2, kidney stone risk from hidden oxalates. cashews are high in oxalates, a naturally occurring compound that binds to calcium in your gut. The result? Calcium oxalate crystals, the #1 cause of kidney stones in older adults. And here's the thing, as we age, our calcium absorption drops and our kidney function declines, making us even more vulnerable. Books. According to the National Kidney Foundation, 2020, dietary oxalates are a leading cause of kidney stones in people over 60, especially those who don't drink enough water. Pushpin Urology Times, 2019, also ranked cashews among the top 5 riskiest nuts for seniors prone to stones. Bradbury K.E. et al., Urology Times, 2019, we ran a 24-hour urine test. His oxalate levels were elevated. The kidney ultrasound revealed small stones forming in his left kidney. I immediately asked him to stop eating cashews. 3 months later, white heavy checkmark his blood sugar stabilized, white heavy checkmark his kidney function improved, white heavy checkmark no new stones had formed. Now he enjoys pistachios and walnuts, better for his heart and safer for his age. Anguished face. Other hidden risks of cashews. Crossmark cashews contain enzyme inhibitors that interfere with protein digestion. Not ideal for older adults who already struggle with nutrient absorption. Crossmark most commercial cashews are oil roasted and salted, increasing sodium and trans fats that hurt heart health. Crossmark. Their curved, smooth shape makes them a choking hazard for seniors with swallowing difficulties. Cashews are heart healthy. Yes. But only in small amounts, when they're raw, unsalted, and properly balanced with other nutrients. For most seniors, it's safer to limit or avoid cashews altogether. No entry. Avoid cashews if you have prediabetes or variable blood sugar, have a history of kidney stones or low calcium, take medications that affect mineral absorption. White heavy checkmark instead. Switch to walnuts for memory and anti-inflammatory support, pistachios for blood pressure and blood sugar control, almonds for bone strength and digestion. No entry. Avoid cashews if you have prediabetes or variable blood sugar, have a history of kidney stones or low calcium, take medications that affect mineral absorption. White heavy checkmark instead. Switch to walnuts for memory and anti-inflammatory support, pistachios for blood pressure and blood sugar control, almonds for bone strength and digestion. Cashews may look gentle, taste sweet, and feel light, but as we've just seen, they carry real risks that can silently build up in aging bodies. And now, we're heading into the heaviest hitter of them all, a nut so calorie-dense and fat-rich, it's often mistaken as luxurious, elegant, even healing, but the truth, it's a disguised calorie bomb that can sabotage your weight, cholesterol, and digestion, especially after 60. Backhand index pointing right. Let's dive into part 7, macadamia, the hidden calorie bomb in your pantry. Macadamia, the hidden calorie bomb in your pantry. Coconut. It's rich, it's buttery, it's elegant. Macadamia nuts are often seen as the Rolls-Royce of healthy snacks. But for people over 60, that elegance might come with a dangerous cost. Man health worker. I'll be honest, macadamias are delicious, they're soft, smooth, and they melt in your mouth like cream, but that's part of the problem. Over the years, I've met many seniors, careful, thoughtful people, who unintentionally damaged their metabolism and liver by treating macadamias like a guilt-free snack. Let me tell you about one of them, Mrs. Eleanor Simmons, 74 years old, California, a retired librarian, part-time yoga teacher. She followed a semi-vegetarian diet, no junk food, no sodas, no fried snacks, but she came in complaining of unexplained weight gain, elevated LDL cholesterol, fatty liver, mild, but growing. She looked at me, frustrated. Doctor, I eat clean. I don't even touch sugar. What am I doing wrong? So I asked, do you eat nuts? Her answer, just a few macadamias at night. They're soft, easy on my teeth. And my neighbors said they're great for the heart. but a few macadamias every evening. For 2 years, that's more than enough to cause trouble. Fire problem number 1, macadamias are the calorie kings of the nut world. Let me put it simply, pushpin 1 ounce, 28 g, of macadamia nuts contains 200 to 220 calories. That's the highest calorie count of any commonly eaten nut, and for seniors, this is a big deal. Why? Because after 60, your metabolism slows, your muscle mass drops, and even a modest calorie surplus can lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, fatty liver buildup. Books according to a 2021 study from the Harvard School of Public Health. Older adults who consumed high-calorie nuts like macadamias had significantly higher abdominal fat and insulin levels compared to those who favored fiber. Rich nuts like almonds or walnuts, who F.B. et al., Harvard Public Health Review, 2021. Skull problem number 2, saturated fat and gallbladder stress. Each ounce of macadamia packs about 22 g of total fat, 3 g of saturated fat, the kind known to raise LDL, bad cholesterol. That's enough to increase risk of arterial plaque buildup, aggravate gallbladder issues, especially in people with silent gallstones, which 15% of seniors have without knowing, contribute to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, especially in low-activity individuals. Pushpin the gallbladder in older adults doesn't contract as efficiently, making it more prone to bile buildup and inflammation. So yes, that evening snack might be giving your gallbladder a hidden workout it didn't sign up for. Tooth problem number 3, damage to teeth. Gums and digestion. Macadamia nuts seem soft. Until they're not. Their slick, round shape and dense texture make them a hazard for crowns, bridges, or implants, likely to strain the jaw if not chewed slowly, a choking risk for those with swallowing difficulties, especially in seniors with dry mouth from medications, weaker chewing muscles, or compromised oral health. Let's be honest, macadamias are expensive, and many seniors live on fixed incomes, retirement funds, Social Security checks. This can lead people to buy cheaper versions of macadamia nuts, often stored poorly or roasted in low-quality oils, leading to oxidized fats, lipid peroxides, which harm the liver and increase oxidative stress. And the scary part, you can't taste these toxins. They build up slowly, over time, just like the damage they cause. Open book. Back to Mrs. Simmons. After we removed macadamias from her diet and switched her to a mix of almonds and raw walnuts, while slightly increasing her daily walking, white heavy checkmark, her LDL cholesterol dropped by 17 points, white heavy checkmark, her liver fat score moved from grade 1 to normal, white heavy checkmark, her weight returned to baseline within 90 days, she smiled and said, "I didn't realize a few harmless nuts could sneak so much trouble into my body. I'm glad I caught it early." Crossmark. Avoid regular macadamia consumption if you have high cholesterol, are trying to lose weight, have a fatty liver or gallbladder issues, live a sedentary lifestyle. White heavy checkmark. If you must enjoy them, stick to under 5 nuts per day, choose raw or dry roasted. Unsalted versions, chew slowly and don't eat them on an empty stomach. Light bulb. And remember, macadamias are a luxury, not a daily snack. So far, we've looked at the nuts that build you up, and the ones that break you down, but there's one final nut that many people still believe is a superfood, when in fact, it might be secretly disrupting over 60 common medications, wiping out your sense of taste, and causing seniors to lose weight unintentionally. Backhand index pointing right. Let's finish strong with part 8, pine nuts. The silent saboteur of taste and metabolism. Pine nuts, the silent saboteur of taste and metabolism. Man health worker. They look small. They smell delightful. And they're a favorite ingredient in gourmet sauces like pesto, but pine nuts, despite their fancy reputation, might be one of the most dangerous nuts for people over 60, not because of calories or fat, but because they can quietly distort your sense of taste, interfere with your medications, and disrupt your entire eating experience without you realizing it. Mr. Walter Green, 71 years old, New York. He came into my clinic, not with heart issues. Not with diabetes, but with an unusual complaint: "Doctor, I can't taste anything anymore. My mouth feels bitter. Like metal, even water tastes awful." He had lost nearly 3 kilograms in 1 month. Why? Because food no longer brought him joy, even his favorite meals felt like punishment. I asked him to walk me through his recent meals. One word caught my attention: homemade pesto. DNA pine nut syndrome. Yes, it's real. Few people, including many doctors, know about this rare condition. Pine nut syndrome, PNS, is a strange but documented reaction in which a person experiences a persistent metallic, bitter taste. It usually begins 2 to 3 days after eating pine nuts. It can last 5 to 20 days, making all food unpleasant. Books. A 2010 study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed this phenomenon. Especially in older adults and those with weaker liver detox systems. Cohn M.J. et al., Your J. Clin Nutr, 2010, Fearful Face. Why is this so dangerous for seniors? When your food tastes bitter or off, your appetite drops. When your appetite drops, so do your calories, nutrients, immune function, mood. In Walter's case, it spiraled fast. He stopped eating, lost energy, felt emotionally withdrawn, and developed mild nutrient deficiencies in less than 30 days. Here's something I wish more people knew: pine nuts contain compounds that affect liver enzymes, specifically CYP450, the same enzymes used to process over 60 common prescription drugs, including statins, for cholesterol, SSRIs, for depression, blood pressure meds, anticoagulants like warfarin, anti-anxiety or anti-epileptic meds, for seniors taking multiple prescriptions. Even a minor interaction can worsen side effects, reduce the effectiveness of vital medications, lead to hospital visits without a clear explanation, yet. Pine nuts don't come with a warning label. Another concern: pine nuts are rich in polyunsaturated fats, which, when improperly stored or exposed to heat, can oxidize into harmful lipid peroxides. These compounds increase inflammation in the liver and brain, raise the risk of cognitive decline, contribute to vascular damage in fragile arteries. Older adults with slower detox pathways, chronic inflammation, like arthritis, compromised immune function, are particularly vulnerable, faced with open-mouth choking risks and dry mouth. Let's talk practicality. Pine nuts are tiny, slippery, hard to chew slowly, for seniors with dry mouth, from meds, swallowing issues, dentures, or weak teeth. Pine nuts can easily cause aspiration or choking. Books. A 2019 study in Gerontology Today showed over 70% of seniors take medications that cause dry mouth, dramatically increasing their risk of choking on small, slippery foods like pine nuts. Open book. Back to Walter. Once we identified the culprit, we immediately cut pine nuts from his diet. I prescribed taste rehabilitation using zinc nutrition therapy, gentle meals with familiar textures, mild herbal tonics to support liver detox. 2 weeks later, Walter's taste returned, his appetite improved, and his smile came back. But his words still echo with me: I never thought something so tiny could take away my joy in food. Avoid pine nuts entirely if you take prescription medications long-term, have chronic liver conditions, experience dry mouth or difficulty swallowing, have a history of taste disturbances or nut sensitivities. White heavy checkmark. Better alternatives: walnuts brain and mood support, pistachios blood sugar and vision, almonds digestion and bone strength. So there you have it. We've traveled through 8 nuts, for that support healthy aging, and 4 that can accelerate decline silently. But the real lesson: after 60, your body becomes more sensitive, and more selective. What was once harmless in your 30s might now be harming your liver, your memory, or your sleep. Every handful matters, so don't just snack. Snack with strategy. In our final part, we'll recap every nut we covered, share an easy comparison chart, and I'll give you my personal recommendations, the same ones I give my own family. The final verdict: small nuts, big consequences. Man, health worker, if there's one thing I've learned after more than 30 years of caring for older adults, it's this: it's not the big changes that make or break your health, it's the small, quiet habits, repeated daily, that shape your future. And yes, even a handful of nuts can change everything. Brain: why this matters more after 60, at this age. Your body no longer rebounds the way it used to, your liver filters more slowly, your kidneys are more vulnerable, your brain becomes more sensitive to inflammation, and your medications may interact in unexpected ways. What used to be just a snack can now either become a daily dose of medicine, or a daily hidden toxin. That's why I made this video, not to scare you, but to empower you, with clarity. Bar chart: the ultimate comparison, golden nuts versus dangerous traps, peanuts, nut white heavy checkmark, key benefits, pushpin recommended intake, almonds stronger bones, heart health, improved digestion, memory 15 to 20 raw, skin on almonds/day, walnuts brain protection, better sleep, anti-Alzheimer's 7 to 9 walnut halves/day, pistachios lower blood pressure, protect eyes, balance blood sugar 49 pistachios/day, unsalted, Brazil nuts boost thyroid. Slow aging at the cellular level 1 to 2 nuts/day, not more, prohibited nut to avoid hidden dangers, warning why it matters after 60, peanuts mold toxins, inflammation, medication interactions, not a real nut. High aflatoxin risk, cashews blood sugar spikes, kidney stones, digestive inhibitors, high oxalates carbs, macadamia calorie bomb, saturated fats, gallstone risk, slows metabolism, hard on liver, pine nuts taste distortion, drug interference, choking risk, affects appetite and medication. Older adult after 60, you're not just eating for energy, you're eating to protect your mind, preserve your mobility, and maintain your dignity. And here's the truth most people never hear: eat the right nuts, in the right amount, and your body will thank you. Eat the wrong ones, even in moderation, and they'll silently wear you down. It's not about fear, it's about understanding what your aging body truly needs. I didn't make this video to go viral, I made it because I've seen too many seniors lose years of quality life over something as simple as a handful of the wrong nuts. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you, because it means you're choosing awareness. And that choice makes all the difference. Megaphone your next steps, starting today. White heavy checkmark: if you're over 60, start with just one small change. Swap peanuts for raw almonds, replace cashews with pistachios, cut macadamia to once a week, never eat pine nuts on medications. That's it, start small. Stay consistent. I'd love to hear from you. What nuts do you eat most often? Have you ever noticed changes after switching nuts? What surprised you most in this video? Backhand index pointing down. Leave your story in the comments. I personally read every single one. Loudspeaker, help me spread this message. If this video gave you clarity or comfort, please, white heavy checkmark, hit the like button. White heavy checkmark, share it with a friend or loved one over 50. White heavy checkmark, subscribe for more videos designed for senior health. You might just save someone from fatigue, from confusion, or even from memory loss, simply by sending them this video. Wrapped gift, a preview of what's next. In the next video, I'll be sharing 7 simple meals that add years to your life, protect your brain. These aren't fad diets or expensive superfoods, they're real meals I recommend to my own parents. You don't want to miss it. Until then, eat wisely, age powerfully, and remember, it's never too late to start protecting your future. Man, health worker with care and clarity, Dr. James Miller, your doctor, your guide, your lifelong ally.